What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics, and today we got a reaction to Elbow, their album Build a Rocket Boys, brought to us by a friend, longtime supporter, and patron of the channel, Robert. Thank you, Robert. Robert brings me good stuff. I don't know a lot about Elbow. What I do know is they're very well acclaimed. We've done one song reaction to them, but I come across their name from time to time. I do all the research on the channel, whether I'm filming it or Trey's filming it. So Guy Garvey, their lead singer and guitarist, he is very, very well thought. He's kind of a musician's musician. People love him and his talent. So as you'll see, we'll get into the research here for just a couple minutes, and you'll see they're in the States where I live, they're not big at all. I know in the UK, they're much more well known. So once again, thank you, Robert, for bringing this. Let's jump into it. Elbow are an English rock band formed in Greater Manchester in 1997. They consist of Guy Garvey, lead vocals and guitar, Craig Potter, keyboards, piano, backing vocals, Mark Potter, guitar and backing vocals, and Pete Turner, bass guitar and backing vocals. They played together since 1990, took the name Elbow in 1997. Drummer Alex Rees replaced Richard Jupp in 2016. So this one's going to have Jupp in it. They released 9 studio albums, all reached the top 15 of the British album chart. 7 of their singles have placed in the top 40 of the British singles chart. In 2008, they won Mercury Prize for the album The Seldom Seen Kid. It's the album before this one. And in 2009, they won the Brit Award for Best British Group. In 2012, they released First Steps, the BBC theme for the 2012 London Olympics. Let's jump into this album itself. It's their 5th studio album released in March 2011 in the UK. Self-produced by the band in Blueprint Studios in Manchester. Nominated for the 2011 Mercury Prize. Debuted at number 2 in the UK, being kept out of number 1 by Adele's 21. This is their highest charting album in the UK so far. I'm filming this in 2022. It also went to number 151 in the US, 13 in Australia, and 2 in Ireland and Scotland. I imagine it had the same problem with Adele in Ireland and Scotland that it did in the UK. It's said to be influenced by Guy Garvey's childhood as they moved back to the area he grew up in before the album was recorded, and is aimed to appeal to both their traditional fan base and those who took a shine to the arena anthems of that previous album, The Seldom Seen Kid. The band's success, according to Garvey, made it difficult for the band to continue in the same vein when it came to lyrics. He admitted that due to being too happy, he had to look elsewhere for lyrics. I can't sincerely write about where I'm at because I'm doing okay. It wouldn't work. And guys said, lyrically, this is a record about the ups and downs of being young through the eyes of someone who loved and hated it all at the same time. I kind of get that, right? Any of us that grew up get that. Ultimately, though, when Elbow listened back to this record in years to come, it will remind us of how it felt to be the same old friends in the same wonderful studio in the same old town making another record we're immensely proud of. But this time in the warm glow of having realized all the plans we made as boys. The album title recommends that everybody have a go. They began writing new material and reviewing previous material they made on the road in January of 2010 on the Isle of Mull. It was there that the new album's major motif began to take shape, that of nostalgia, missing family life, and detesting the feeling of being able to settle in. Now, a couple times when Guy was struggling with lyrics, with writing, he made trips to Peter Gabriel's Real World Studios in Wiltshire to talk with Peter, right? He's one of his mentors, one of his heroes. And while he was there with Peter, he would often call up the band and make them bring him up virtually. Not as easy to do in 2010 as it is now in 2022. And they would play along with him as they went over the song. So I thought that was pretty cool. Q Magazine had sent a reporter and done this big story while they were recording the album. They weren't done yet. So a couple months later, Guy sent them a new album update, mentioning among many things that had happened since their correspondent last visited the studio. Guy said, quote, "We had a pair of young ladies called Cupid's Bow come in and play cello for us. We also crane lifted a grand piano into the top floor of the studios. Windows had to be removed, and it took 12 hours to complete. The 55-strong Hale Youth Choir gave up a Sunday to come in and sing a number of songs. I felt a bit cheeky asking well-trained vocalists to sound a bit more Manc," I think Manchester, right? But they were up to it. So many real musicians under one roof. We were flattered that they agreed to work with us. And that Hale Youth Choir, which also had played with the band in 2009, feature on 6 of the tracks in here. Critically, Metacritic 82 out of 100. That's incredibly high. Enemy and Spin, 8 out of 10. All lyrics written by Guy Garvey. All music composed by Elbow, the band themselves. So we're going to jump into this. Before we do, guys, the music will not be in this video, but it will be in a Vimeo link below. Follow along with me. I'm going to have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, Robert. We'll start this album off with The Birds. It's a song that sticks up for an old man in a nursing home, chided for reminiscing on a failed love affair. Guy said this to the Sun, quote, "It bugs me that old people are patronized." And the lyrics to that song, see the old man recounting the end of this affair while being patronized. Oh, here we go again. I like the idea about the last encounter of a love affair where the bitterness is gone and the birds are the only things that witnessed it in the lie. The birds are the keeper of our secrets. It's quite a dark song, which I will say I've read. This album's very dark, right? There's dark and light in the album, but there are some dark things. And even Robert, the patron who requested this, told me, as things, it's pretty dark. Guy also gave another interview with The Observer, and he said, "My favorite songs pick on things I have not written about before." In that song, this one, The Birds, the character, who I guess is me as an old man, is looking back on that love affair. The middle eight became the voices of his carers, quiet, dooming voices saying, "What are we going to do with you? Come on inside." Looking back is for the birds, patronizing him almost. "Come on, always the same with you." The way that old people are spoken to generally. I suppose I'm saying it's wrong to patronize old people and assume they haven't felt everything that you felt and remember it very clearly. Well, there's some wisdom there. Looking forward to jumping into this. Let's get it. The Birds. I should have warned you up front. It was over 8 minutes long. Didn't feel like it. Very prog rockish almost influenced here, right? I don't know that the rest of the album from my research doesn't seem like it's going to go down that path, but I don't know. Maybe it will, but I mean, that wins the 8 minutes. I just thought the soundscape is so interesting, right? You got that repeating rip, but then you have this other almost like water drop things falling in, and the keyboard work by Craig Potter is excellent. And the instrumentation on here is great. Craig Potter on the keyboards is fantastic, but I mean, the guitar work by Mark Potter is excellent as well. I just thought it did a good job of, yes, it is very melancholy. It brings you into this environment. I thought that the music really fit the lyrics, right? And it doesn't always do that. That is not something you're probably thinking, yeah, Sean, that's obvious. No, it's really not. Trust me, I listen to this. I do this every day, basically. It doesn't all the time match up. So I thought it built a nice mood. I'm curious if it's a setting the table for the mood of the rest of the album. But yeah, I mean, guys, lyrics are really well written. There's not a ton of lyrics, right? There's a lot of repeating of the chorus, which just draws you in, which the chorus, I mean, I kind of talked about it earlier. What are we going to do with you? Same tale every time. Did they sing a million blessings? What are we going to do with you? Come on inside. Looking back is for the birds. It builds in. He's thinking about the one who got away. Either the one who got away, the lover that got away. I mean, it could be a lover of his that died many years before too. There's no telling really, but you feel that in there, right? And he asks, there's some really good lyricism in here where he says about the birds. Did they sing a million blessings as they watched us slowly part? Do they keep those final kisses in their tiny racing hearts? I mean, it's really top flight lyricism here. So a great opener. Now we're going to go to a 6-minute track. They're not all this long. Lippy Kit. A line from the refrain for this song, Build a Rocket Boys, obviously became the title of the album. And Gary discussed in NMEQ and other interviews that Build a Rocket Boys was in general about reflecting on the past. He said to NME, "One of the main themes of the record is me getting really annoyed when young people are alienated or demonized by the press because they wear their hoods up." In other words, he went on to talk about how if you're on a street corner with your hoods up, you must be up to no good. And he didn't like that. So the lyrics are going to kind of, I think, unfold a little bit about judging teens and judging people, maybe. Let's check it out. Lippy Kit. That song was freaking great, man. I mean, that's my expert analysis on that. That was freaking great. Guy's voice, you feel it, man. You feel like he's this older guy, not older, like middle-aged. I mean, I'm 51. Am I still middle-aged or am I old? I don't know, man. Probably borderline, right? But maybe a guy in his early 40s who's watching these kids and he's telling some things. He's watching them, but he's remembering what it was like to be them. I think sometimes older people forget what it was like to be that age, and we just judge teenagers like, oh man, what an idiot, this and that. Do you remember what it was like to be that age? And your parents and the older people are saying the same thing about you. And I think Guy breaks that down really well. He starts out, lippy kids in the corner again, suddenly like crows, though I never perfected that simian stroll, which is something that's of Manchester culture, I read. The cigarette Senate was everything that, in other words, the cool kids, and they were all smoking at the time. And if you fit in with them, then you'd be fine. But if they didn't like you, life is tough at school. I mean, school's tough. School's the hardest environment you ever be in because you're forced to be there with a ton of different people, right? You get out of school, you might be forced to be at your job, but you're not forced to be there, and not with this kind of people. So do they know that those days are golden? Build a rocket, boys. And he gets build a rocket, boys. He brings it up. Although he never like gets fast, but the voice inflection just, man, it's just so powerful. And, do they know those days are golden? They tell you high school years are the best years of your life. That was not the case for me, but, enjoy the youth while you can. That would be good advice. I was always in a hurry to get stuff done, to accomplish things quickly. And then you wake up one day and go, wow, I should have taken my time and enjoyed some things. And then he talks about a girl that he knew, and kind of some of the things that they did. And then he just gets in that build a rocket, boys. And he just repeats that chorus about the girl, one long June, I came down from the trees. Because, what are the things we remember about when we were kids? Usually it's the summer, right? Because we get to do things when we're not in school. So, man, I'm telling you, that thing was just, there's something about, I can't even tell you what it is about it. It's Guy's lyrics, it's Guy's vocals. Craig Potter on the keyboards is the most powerful part of it, but all the other instrumentation is just perfect. It is going to be hard to top that song. I can already tell you that. But I'm not going to stop. So let's try the next one, With Love. With Love. Great bass work, guitar work there. You also had the choir in on this one, right? They were on the last song too, but I didn't really hear them so much on that one. It's either the Hall Youth Choir or the Holly Youth Choir. So whichever one it is, sorry guys. And it may not be either, but I'll just call them the Hall Youth Choir so I don't butcher their name anymore. The song itself is he's trying to seduce, I think, a married woman or woman in a relationship. Best intentions bring joyless droughts. She's not happy. Pack your hacksaw, come bust me out. When your dentures prevent your smile, these adventures will fill your eyes. In other words, you'll remember back on this. And then the hook, with love. Verse 2, you've been going see-through. Could do with a little sun, so I guess she's been inside. I'd give my liver to see you abide and ride shotgun. Come with me for an adventure, right? A Bacchian scandal awaits me. Just can't do it alone. Your sweetheart probably hates me. So just a little dig at, calling him sweetheart. But I'll send you home. Your dome filled up with love. She filled up with love. Is this some other sort of thing that it's alluding to? But then the bridge, love will find you out. Be sure love will find you out. I think he might be suggesting the fact that maybe she doesn't even love the guy she's with, whether it's her husband or her boyfriend, whoever she's in a relationship. But fill your boots, fill your spine, fill your dome, fill your eyes with love. And then that with love. Very catchy, very much so from from that little riff, right? But still a really well done song. There's layered vocals on here. So much different than the first two songs, shows you their versatility. I'll go to the next track, which was the lead single, Neat Little Rose. Neat Little Rose, a very interesting soundscape being crafted on this one. I thought Richard Jupp's drumming was quite good on this. I mean, it's been quite good, but this one is really showcased. So I don't even know, I don't like this as well as the first two tracks, right? I mean, I don't like it as well as the Birds. Definitely don't like it as well as Lippy Kids, but I don't know if I'll find one I like as well as Lippy Kids. So interesting, this was a single, but maybe because it's more upbeat, sort of, and very intricate the way it is arranged. I mean, Lay My Bones and Cobblestones and Neat Little Rose. I mean, I think he's talking about being buried right in the cemetery. I don't really know what this song is about. The chorus, in the house where they grew up, there were secrets and the saints, that the eyes that would give anything to the would picture the counting your fingers, waiting for the focus of your eyes. Oh no, don't play fingers. Fingers are for pointing at the sky. So I don't know if it's some bad happened to him growing up and maybe in a religious family they didn't talk about. I don't know. I mean, I don't even want to speculate. Who the heck knows of like what perspective he's writing this from. Not his own, as Guy shared, but whatever mindset he got in. But I don't know if you know what this song's about, if they spoke on it. I couldn't find where they'd spoke on it. Let me know. Next up, we have Jesus is a Rochdale Girl. It's based on Guy's earlier poem he wrote about his first love. He said, I think our records have always had light and shade to a degree. This one more so than the others. Talking about the album, and this one plays a pivotal part in that, I had read. Jesus is a Rochdale Girl. The Potters tearing it up on this one. The guitar work by Mark, just, that acoustic in there the whole time, which just fits so well with Guy's voice and kind of the mood of the song. But then Craig Potter comes in and just says some weird stuff on the keyboard that doesn't seem to fit in the song, yet somehow does. Because the first time it happened, I was like, what is that? But the more they did, and of course I obviously finished us off in the song, the more it drew me in. But I mean, I really like this song. He's painting the picture of his house, like where he's living, and nothing to be proud of, nothing to regret, all of that to make as yet. So he hasn't done anything with his life, right? Nothing to be proud of, but he's got nothing to regret. Just he hasn't done anything. I have a single heartbreak. I celebrate and mourn. A single shining sister and all the tricks of dawn. A single yellow duvet, a single switch to flick, but 1,000 boxes yet to flick. And then he says, Jesus is a Rochdale girl. And Rochdale is a small town in the northwest corner of Greater Manchester. And depending on where you're watching this from, you already knew that, but I had no idea. And 45 CDs. So he's explaining to you kind of, he's painting the picture again. Got a house that you can smoke in. So all my friends found me, right? If you have a house that everybody lets you smoke in, even back in 2010/11, then, you know, everybody would congregate there. And they found me full of myself and bloody-minded will, and as yet a box to fill. So an unfulfilled life so far. So, man, I thought it was really good writing and a great ambiance. Now we got The Night Will Always Win. The Night Will Always Win, a very powerful song. Once again, Craig Potter showcasing that keyboard on there, and then Guy's vocals on these songs that are so, I don't say melancholy, but, you know, like chilled and very serious subject matter. His voice just fits it so well because you really believe it, man. You can feel the emotion and the texture of his voice, and man, you felt it here, and so well written. It seemed like I knew this song. I mean, I don't think I did. It's not the song we reacted to, but it just seemed like the second it started, I'm like, man, this sounds familiar to me, but I throw this to the wind. Or what if I was right? Well, did you trust your noble dreams and gentle expectations to the mercy of the night? The night will always win. The night has darkness on its side. I'll throw this to the wind. So he's bookending that verse with how he started it. So I think there he's saying, you know, that I don't know, but what if I was right, throwing it to the wind, like giving up maybe on your dreams or what you were pursuing or what was good? Maybe you were right, maybe you were wrong. And then the night will always win. The night is dark. Like the toughness that comes in the nighttime when you're dealing with difficult stuff. Like, I mean, I deal with chronic pain all the time. I hate the nights. I don't sleep well. It's solitary. It's lonely. It can be depressing if you wallow in like your situation too much. I think he's talking about that. And then second verse, you get somebody's died, right? I miss your stupid face. I miss your bad advice. I tried to clothe your bones with scratches. Super 8, so old time film, right? Exaggerated stories and old tunes. So someone's died, a family member, a friend, maybe a long time ago, but never by the moon, but not the state I'm in. The night will always win. And then it repeats those. But I mean, this song was incredibly powerful. We got 11 tracks, and now we're up to the 7th one, High Ideals. High Ideals. I mentioned it at the start. You know, it starts out with bass work. A lot of these songs start out with different stuff. A lot of them start out with the keyboards. This one hitting that bass work and just quite the sonic structure built on this song. Very, very interesting just with the things that they were doing on here. You know, you had the violin, the trumpet, the flugelhorn, the cello, the viola. Like you had all of these things just blending in, and it just it made this song really interesting. It really showcases guys' sophisticated songwriting, right? There's a ladder tear in my high ideals. Like I took a chair on the battlefield, and any noble fire that was burning in my chest is acid in my belly at the very best. And then there's a bayonet in my family things. It was made in the USA to defend the king. And though the sinew that thrust and all the bones that splintered are dust, it passed from hand to hand with the wedding ring. So it's been passed down. Oh, settle down, little heart of mine. Oh, settle down. You're doing double time. You're so far away, and she's right here by your side. Oh, settle down, little heart of mine. Oh, so that's all the lyrics in a 5-minute, 39-second song. But it just fits so well because it's about, like I said, the sonic structure built along with the vocals. It's so well done. Now we go to The River. I don't know if this is a fact. It's what I found in the research, but I only found it one place. But I'll share it with that little caveat of maybe it's true, maybe it's not. It's inspired by the 2005 film Junebug and its portrayal of the Deep South in the U.S. The lyrics and chords, it was said, are meant to sound like a hymn with, quote, without it necessarily belonging to God. All right. The River, a very melancholy song, right? Basically, just keyboards and some light string/guitar work on that one. So I did enjoy it. It was all about guys' vocals on that and just building that melancholy atmosphere. We got 3 tracks left, sort of. We'll go to Open Arms. All right, Open Arms, man. Finishes with a cool little part because it says, and everyone's here, and you have all that background chatter. So that was pretty cool. The Hall Youth Choirs here again, they give it that almost a gospel feel to this song. They said that the guy said he's painting a picture of St. Bernadette's Social Center in Whitfield, quote, where weddings, funerals, and christenings take place in our parish. And in that, It's almost like a prodigal son coming home, right? You're a law unto yourself, and we don't suffer dreamers, but neither should you walk the earth alone. So with finger rolls and folding chairs and a volley of streamers, we can be there for tweaks and repairs should you come back home to this church. I think we got open arms for broken hearts like yours, my boy. Come home again. And that's where you get that gospel, that choir coming in. Tables are for pounding here. And when we've got you surrounded, the man you are will know the boy you were. Now, I thought that was maybe the line of the album. So that song was so well done. We only got 2 songs left. And I said earlier, almost, because the song's only a minute and a half. It's a reprise or reprise, I never know how to say this, of The Birds, the opening track. This one is sung by piano tuner John Mosley. According to Guy, he said, quote, "We wanted a man with a sweet but frail voice, and John got the job." All right, man. Shout out to John Mosley, the piano tuner on that one. Just a little bit of The Birds revisited here. I don't know why this is on here. I mean, it's fine, I guess. I mean, I could have done without it. Kind of a weird thing, but I'm sure they had a purpose to it. All right, so we're going to finish this album off with Dear Friends. Dear Friends, beautiful instrumentation and atmosphere to finish this out, right? We even have a flugelhorn on here. The choir is back, and it's a song about being homesick because you're out touring. So I thought especially the sonic aspect of it, the ambiance, the arrangement, musically really fit to end this album out. It showcased kind of what a lot of this album was all about. Now we're going to transition to my favorite tracks. Honorable mention, I've got Jesus is a Rochdale Girl, High Ideals. Faves are going to be The Birds, Open Arms, and of course Lippy Kids. That song is absolutely outstanding. I know you guys already figured out. That's what I thought of it. I went on about it when it was going on. And now we'll get to my overall score. Look, there's 11 tracks on here. Like I said, if you count The Birds, reprise, you count that in there, that one could have went. But the rest of them, that were all really well done, man. This is an outstanding album. Yes, it's not going to uplift you, but I don't need music that uplifts me all the time. I mean, I get it, but I don't need that most of the time. I enjoy this kind of stuff. Guy Garvey's writing and just his vocals and just everybody. I mean, the Potters, everyone sounded great. So I'm going to be at an 8.25 on this. And it's great because right now we're doing album drafts on the channel. If you haven't tuned in, we started in 1965, going all the way through 2022. And right now I'm listening to 2011. So this could not have come at a better time for me. So thank you, Robert, for bringing this gem to the channel. Let us know what you think of this down in the comments below. Give Robert some love. Appreciate all the patrons. If you guys support us in a way, check out the Patreon link below. The Patreon link on the end screen is about to hit, where I'll put another video that you might enjoy. Until next time, guys, I will see you.